It's a Thursday night in 2023. I'm sitting on my bed and I don't know what to do. I've just graduated high school that day, and after years of trying to make friends, trying to improve my social life, what have I been left with? I've been left with DMs drier than the Sahara, no friends, no girlfriend, and the painful memory of how almost no one had seemed sad to see me go at graduation. Let me take you right back to the beginning. The first day of high school, I'm sitting with the only guy I knew from my primary school and all his friends, and they're all the soccer boys, and I am not talking one bit. All my confidence from primary school, turns out that was just insecurity, and you know that confidence where you're just being really loud and outgoing, but inside you're really insecure. I had that, and when I got to high school with all these new people who I didn't know, combined with me being an insane introvert, I just didn't say a word. At first, people were cool with that. They're like, oh, this guy's just a little bit quiet. As the time went on though, they started to just see me as this bug who's just attached to them, who they can't get off, who's just annoying, always there. And that's not the right way to see it, by the way, but they're like 12-year-old kids, that's how they're gonna see it. And after maybe a year or something, the bullying really started. It had well and truly started. I remember one time I was in my English class, we were doing our vocab words, I don't know, really simple words, it's grade 7 or something, and one of the words was docile, and turns out I think docile means something like tame, like doesn't say much, obeys your orders, and it's a term for like a good dog and stuff, right? And these guys sitting across from me, were like, hey Ivor, that's you. And I just wanted to like pick up a chair and throw it at them because I was so pissed off at them. This was like a daily occurrence at this point. So eventually I'd had enough. I decided to leave the football boys, but I was still obsessed with popularity and status, like every kid this age is. And it's actually the worst curse that they ever have, the worst curse of teenagehood. And so I moved to another group. Did I go to a group that was actually going to be friendly to me, who I shared some interests with? Hell no. I went straight for the second most popular group. And do you want to guess if I made tons of friends and like got along super well and didn't get bullied? Yeah, you're right. No, I got so bullied. I got bullied even worse. And that all ended when I was at my athletics training one day, go outside in the gym, check my phone, and I see that I'm in this group chat and they've already sent a text. This is some new group chat with like almost everyone from the group, and they've said, Ivor, we think it's best if you stop hanging out with us at lunchtime. You're out. You're kicked out of the group. As I read that, I felt this crushing sensation. I felt absolutely terrible. Tennis ball, barbed wire in my throat, just terrible. But at the same time, I felt relieved because I knew this was coming. I knew that they just didn't want to be talking to me. And so when I got kicked out, now I had a bit of an excuse to leave and go find somewhere else. This could be the beginning of a new chapter for me. The problem was that by now, it was grade 10, almost the end of grade 10. I'd had 3.5 years of almost no good social interaction, just listening to conversations. I'd had 3.5 years of bullying. That is gonna mess up a confidence of anyone. And my confidence, yeah, it was messed up. When I went up and talked to girls or even guys, I had the confidence of a dog in a thunderstorm. I was just all over the place. And because of this, I really struggled to make friends. To this day, I still have remnants of that low confidence in me, which I'm making good progress to getting rid of, but I'll get to that. And because I was so like scarred from getting bullied, I was so focused on my academic life now, coming into grade 11 and 12, I just didn't really put in the effort to make friends. I could have talked to people in my other classes, but honestly, the people I was sitting with at break, they didn't bully me. I just got to kind of listen in on conversations. I got to talk a little bit. We didn't have anything super in common, but I enjoyed hanging out with them. It was fun. And so I kind of just let the time pass. In my head, I was telling myself that I was trying really hard to make friends, but really no, I wasn't. I could have tried much harder. I did have some small wins, so I was trying. I had my first date, I had my first kiss. I think I had my second kiss. I'd had a lot to drink, I'm not sure, to be honest. But by the time graduation rolled around, I was still friendless. But that year after graduation, I was completely different. I was so much happier. I was so much more progressed at having a good social life. Do you want to know why? That night after graduation, like realistically it wasn't that night, but let's just simplify. That night after graduation, I realized a couple of things. Every single rejection I had gotten at graduation, all the times before, all the girls who'd rejected me, all the friends who hadn't invited me to hang out, all that made me see friendship as this more and more idealized thing, this thing which I had to get, which would complete my life. I was thinking of friendship as binary. Either I had it or I didn't, because I saw it as so idealized. The further friendship got away, the more it seemed like what I had was not that. Because of that, I thought it was too far away to get. And that made me give up on it, when really maybe it wasn't that far away. And if I had tried harder, I would have gotten it. That being said, I did seriously lack conversation skills, so it was pretty far away to have true friends. But seeing this friendship as binary made me give up. So even though it was far away, I wasn't making any progress, or I was, but it was very slow. And it made me so much more miserable because I saw friendship as binary, which meant that I was at this end. I had no friends, I had nothing. I had my family, sure, I had a couple of acquaintances who I got to spend time with, but I didn't really see these as meaningful relationships as much as I do now. Now I see the people who I've only talked to a couple of times as meaningful people who I enjoy being around, because I do enjoy being around them. I look forward to seeing them. After I've seen them, I feel good. If you look forward to seeing someone, they are meaningful. In high school, left high school not being friends with anyone. Does that mean that all those 6 years of high school were like lost? I just lost ground or something? No. Those 6 years were amazing. They developed my confidence, my conversation skills. They made me so much happier. They gave me a reason to go to school. So I realized that night after graduation that these relationships had been meaningful, and I felt so much better. So I think that this is a good exercise for every time you're feeling like you're not having friends. Maybe most of the time you're okay with this, you're sitting right on the spectrum, you're not treating it as binary, but it's often when we're in a really bad mood, we're really down, we're just not seeing things the right way, the way that we normally do. And maybe we're seeing this as binary, we're seeing our relationships as not meaningful, and they are. And so the next time you start feeling really sad about this, just remember that, if you can. Another thing which I have since realized from then is that progress with making friendships is stepwise, because there's thresholds to making a friend. You need a certain threshold of conversation skills, which means you require a certain threshold of confidence. You need a certain threshold of like experience and emotional intelligence to know like when people want to be friends with you, when to invite them out, that kind of thing. How often to hang out with them, what to even do to hang out with them, which is something I didn't even know because I'd never hung out with people. These are thresholds. To make your first friend, you have to tick off all of these boxes. Otherwise, you will not make a friend. Unless they are like you can obviously get very lucky because certain people are going to be closer to you, so your threshold for them is going to be lower. But even for like the optimal friend, there is still a threshold. And that means that you can be progressing, but you're probably not going to make much progress. Maybe you'll make a tiny bit, like you might make one friend, but realistically, your conversational skills will be getting better, your confidence will be getting better, but you're not going to make any friends. And then all of a sudden, you're going to pass that threshold where suddenly your conversation skills, your confidence, your actual ability to follow up with people, invite them out and that stuff is good enough. And when you reach that, you still have to wait until you meet the right people, but then you're going to bump up and you're going to have friends. So it's not this linear thing where you make a friend all of a sudden and you can measure your progress by how many friends you made. No, your progress just looks like nothing and then it jumps up because you made a friend. Instead of measuring progress by how many friends you have, how many relationships you have, you've got to look more at your conversation skills, your confidence, how easily you can go up and talk to people, because that is the thing that's linearly improving. In fact, it's exponentially improving. So at the end of high school, I had 0 friends. At the start of high school, I had 0 friends. It would look like my progress was dead flat. Maybe it would be a little bit up because, I stopped getting bullied. I had my first kiss. That stuff is measurable progress. But really, my conversation skills absolutely went through the roof, exponentially better. Grade 7, I was sitting at break, literally not saying a word. At the end of high school, I could have good conversations with most people. This is another thing. A lot of the time you are going to see that you have made progress in your conversational skills and stuff. It's just when you're feeling really sad, that is when these rational thoughts disappear and you start thinking just not correctly. And that's when you're going to think, oh, I haven't made any friends, I haven't made much progress. Maybe right after a rejection, you're going to think this is exactly what was happening to me 5 years ago, I haven't made progress. Please try to remember, look back, go on a video and look at yourself from years ago. You're going to be so much uglier. You're going to be just awkward. You're going to be standing awkwardly. You right now is so much better, so much more skilled. Maybe you got rejected, but that is fine. You are much closer and you've just got to keep going. And that brings me on to the final thing, which is that people underestimate how much they can improve their social life, particularly when they are spiraling and they're not happy, like I said, in those dark times. This story does have a happy ending. I now have friends, I have a girlfriend, I'm hanging out with my friend like next week. I've hung out with friends like once a week for like the past, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I hang out most weeks. I am still working on it, but like at one point I was thinking that I was never going to find a girlfriend and I was always just gonna have co-workers and not like a close friendship circle. Now I have a girlfriend. I don't have a close friendship circle, but I have friends. And you will have a happy ending too. I don't care where you're starting. I don't care how slowly you're going right now. If you keep working on this, you will get there. The fact that you're watching this video this far through is a good sign. It shows that you actually care about this. You might not be close to making a friend. You might not be close to getting a girlfriend, but you will get there. And in the meantime, I know that's not what you want to hear. Maybe it's good that your story will have a happy ending, but you want there to be a happy journey as well. And maybe your social life, again, isn't going amazing right now, but as I said earlier, you do have some somewhat meaningful relationships because friendship is not binary. You have made some progress which you can be proud of, and you can focus on how you're keeping improving. You know, you can go, I'm going to improve this next thing in the next conversation I have. I'm going to spend this next month focusing on like showing more facial expression or something. I need to do that. This improvement will pull you forward. The pride looking back is going to make you happier as well. And that seeing your relationships as meaningful is going to make you get that just satisfaction we get from relationships. It's like its own kind of happiness. As well as that, you can exercise, you can sleep well, you can focus on other areas of your life as well. Don't have this be the only thing consuming your life. And life can be pretty good. Life with friends and stuff will be even better, but they are not the only thing that you need. I think people tend to, when they're missing something, they see that as the one thing which they need to be happy and to make their life better. And they're exaggerating the importance of that thing and under-exaggerating what they do have. When you're drowning underwater, the only thing on your mind is going to be how you need to breathe. Even though, like, you know, you've got a full stomach, all this, I mean, I know you're literally drowning, so that's an exaggerated case, but you see your friends and making friends and stuff as the one thing you need. It is very, very important, but that doesn't mean that your life can't be good over the threshold of neutral where this is your life is bad, this is your life is good. Your life can still be good without that. So keep going. You got this, bro. Have an amazing day.